least. You'll get Adam tomorrow morning. But welcome to the final weekday MLB strategy show of this lovely baseball season. September 27th, Friday. Adam, are you excited?
Yeah, it's almost football.
It's almost NBA.
Yeah, almost NBA for sure. Really excited about NBA, obviously. But yeah, hopefully, go out with a good final night or two of MLB.
Yeah, I will certainly play today. I definitely want to sweat the final live before lock that I do. And then lead into NFL, MMA, soccer for a couple of weeks before NBA just goes bonkers. But we are here. I didn't think that we were going to get here. At the beginning of August, it was like, whew, 8 more weeks. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Beginning of August, I was loving baseball because I just won a big tournament. Mid to late August, I was getting to the point where I was over it.
I basically tapped out in like the first week of July. So it's been a long summer. Let's take a look at lineup study from last night. Grab this, move that tab over. I'm all discombobulated. All right, where is it? $15. Mr. Good Seats in second, ending in first. Ricky D in third. Decent night for some of the 150 max peeps. Who else we got up here? Dollar Bill W, Chipotle, Brick, Tom into 28th. 31.1 fantasy points from the leading scoring pitcher last night. Do you know who that was?
I don't even remember who pitched yesterday. Mania?
Jordan Yamamoto.
Oh, God.
Zach Wheeler finished with 29. Could have been a little bit better, but they decided to let him go 118 pitches or something stupid. Gave up 2 dongs and the win. So that was really fantastic for someone that had 70% Wheeler. Highest scoring hitter. Any idea who it was?
No.
Obviously, this one should have been known from the beginning. Minimum salary overall, Daniel Palka.
Daniel Palka. Yeah. I do remember seeing that pop up a couple times on Twitter that he'd homered.
$2,000. The flat minimum on DraftKings was the highest scoring hitter. If you're ever curious why you can roster anybody in baseball, that's the reason. Hilarious. Mania went for 23. Musgrove went for 26.5. So pitching held up largely. If you were looking for a team stack, let's go ahead and filter out the pitcher. Highest scoring team, the Chicago White Sox, obviously. Then the Pirates, and then a big drop off a little drop off to Houston, and then everybody else sucked. So just one of those nights.
I figured the Indians would win the slate once Cease scratched.
And yet, you mean Kobe?
Yeah, the one that you think is Kobe.
Yeah, I was just trying to trip you up there now. Josh Reddick finished with 22 fantasy points. I believe he was like my highest exposed hitter on FanDuel, mostly because I thought he was leading off, and then he hit 6th. He was like 4 for 5 with 3 singles and a double, or maybe 5 for 6 with 4 singles and a double, or something crazy. Had a really weird stat line.
Yeah, that's what you get with Josh Reddick.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, he was highest scoring hitter on Houston. Probably saved me a little bit, but didn't think 2 and 3 would be Jack Mayfield and Kyle Tucker. That's for sure. Take a look at some of the lineups. Top scoring lineup from ending: 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 from the White Sox, 2, 3, 5 from the Pirates. So stacks rule the roost. Sean Manaea, Zach Wheeler combo at the top. So that's how you got to the White Sox, I guess. Comboing up the top 2 pitchers yesterday.
Yeah, not a bad strategy. Like mid-range yesterday was pretty weak.
It was indeed.
Except for once you factored in the Cubs lineup from Musgrove, it got a little bit better.
Yeah, the Cubs were just like, you know what, we're good.
Yeah.
That was very much the B squad for the old Cubbies. Highest exposed player last night. What? Really? The 5-game slate last night, right?
Yes.
Who do you think the highest exposed, or like how high exposed do you think the highest exposed hitter was?
25%.
29 on Chapman. I would have thought somebody broke free bigger than that, just from like a weird price or something.
Yeah.
Not quite.
I can't believe Palka was only 9.
For real. 9.3. 726 of 7,800 lineups. Flat minimum. And he did exactly what you would expect Daniel Palka to do. Hit home runs and nothing else.
Yeah.
Fun 5-gamer. Did not expect Jordan Yamamoto to get to 31.1, yet here we are.
Anytime Jordan Yamamoto has a good game, I'm happy that I didn't play the slate.
Pretty much, yeah. No pitcher in the negatives.
Miley tried.
Miley did try, 2.8. Wasn't the lowest scoring pitcher.
Cease got 0.
That's true. That's not really what I mean. Jose Quintana, 2.05. Everybody was bad. Yamamoto, Wheeler, Musgrove, Minaya, 23 or higher. Everybody else was 8 or less. So great work, everyone.
I hit 75% on my article yesterday. The only pitchers I wrote up were Minaya, Wheeler, Musgrove, Quintana.
Yeah, Quintana, not quite. Although I did get tagged in a tweet yesterday, like, I went to go contrarian after listening to the Osimo show and took Quintana. And now I remember why I don't listen to those guys. I was just like, I tried to write back because he spelled Osimo wrong and be like, oh, you should have listened to the Osimo show because I don't know who those clowns are. But at that point, that person had already deleted their tweet. So it took a little bit of the fun out of it for me. It's a shame. It's a shame. So I hope you're listening right now. We'll give you the goods for today. MLB.
Imagine listening to Alex talk about DFS and then just being like, that's why I don't listen to him.
Yeah. They specifically mentioned the strategy show. So
okay.
That was a Jake and I yesterday. So.
Yeah.
And, what are you going to do? Sorry. I'm actually not. MLB strategy is the promo code. Ooh, final time to do this read. I'm excited because it switched those first 3 letters in a couple weeks. 50% off your first month of Osimo Plus. NFL is in full swing. NBA right around the corner. NHL right around the corner. College football, golf, MMA, NASCAR, WNBA, soccer. We're covering it all. If you want to come check it all out, use the promo code MLB Strategy. One big word. You can get that done. And as always, we are brought to you by Yahoo Sports. I am going to hope that I can find Emacs Spotlight Hitters article faster than I'm doing it right now. I'm going to drop that into YouTube chat for the final time. If you want to sign up at Yahoo, use the information at the top of the article. Use the promo code AWESOMO and get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. They are running the 400K baller for week 4 in the NFL, 50K to first. Only 8,700 people in so far. $10 entries, $150 max. The single entry, no management fee contest that's only $3 is still has half the entries available. So if you want to get into that one, I mean, that's going to be overall one of the best contests you'll find, if not the best. Highly recommend getting in there. But they've got 10 max contests up and down the pay structure. You can find anything you need to fit you. We've got projections. We've got ownership projections for Yahoo. So if you want to check it all out, we've got the goods. Well, here we go. The final MLB strategy show. You ready to kick it off?
Let's go.
Phillies and Marlins. 5.1 run implied total for the Phillies. 3.9 for the Marlins. Vince Velasquez. Pablo Lopez. Do we have ownership yet? Just to check. No, we do not. Let's talk about Velasquez since I think that's going to be the most interesting piece. $38 on Yahoo, $7,600 on FanDuel, $6,200 on DraftKings. He is going to be very popular, is he not?
I don't know what DraftKings is doing with their pricing today, but this is one of a couple of cheap pitchers that are just completely mispriced.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to the one that's the best.
Yeah, someone DM'd me about that last night, and I looked and just lost my mind. Yeah. But yeah, obviously really good spot here for Velasquez. The Marlins do have a 4 implied run total, which for them is like, a normal team having a 6 implied run total. But a good matchup, not a lot of power, and that's what Velasquez struggles with the most. He has struck out 25% of hitters this year. He has good strikeout stuff, 4.43 Sierra. Not like he's a bad pitcher whatsoever. Gets a lot of right-handed bats in the lineup as well. No real reason for me not to like Velasquez.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another day where we got to target the Marlins, and so much of it, even more so than just the Marlins, is the fact that he's 6,200.
Right.
He could really blow that price up.
Right. Like he can go for 25 points here and nobody would bat an eye, and he's 6,200.
Yeah, it's craziness. Absolute craziness. I don't think he'll be the most popular pitcher, but he is certainly going to be chalky.
He'll probably be one of the top 2.
Yeah, I would agree. Any interest in Pablo Lopez on the opposite side?
In the context of this slate, no. Negative park shift going into Philadelphia. Philadelphia's been running out some pretty weak lineups lately, with Real Muto banged up. Segura is banged up as well, I believe. So, there's a chance you get a bad lineup, but it's just tough because why are you paying more money for Pablo Lopez in this spot than for Velasquez?
Yep. We are on the same page. 6,800 for Pablo Lopez on FanDuel is reasonable. It feels like completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
7,600 on FanDuel for Velasquez too. No problems there.
Right. They're still, obviously, with FanDuel only rostering the one pitcher, it's still not that appealing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still a fantastic price given his projection and all, but it is also really easy to get to someone like Walker Buehler. Bats. I don't mind the Phillies, I guess. It's still an offensive environment. Hoskins, Harper. I don't know. I don't get the sense that I'll be stacking this game up in full, but there are pieces of the Phillies that I don't mind. Brad Miller for 2,300 on FanDuel stands out as a really nice price. You want anything here, really?
I think the priority would be left-handed power. So, Miller, as you mentioned, Bryce Harper. If Hernandez is leading off, that's a decent value. Harper, obviously, the best play, though.
Any Marlins bats?
Diaz is a decent value if he's towards the top of the order, but nothing that stands out.
Lewis Brinson for the flat minimum, I guess.
Yeah, you can roster 4 strikeouts at 2K, and it doesn't hurt too badly.
It's true. Alrighty, keeping it going. Nats and Indians. 4.9 run implied total for the Nats. 4.6 for the Indians. Austin Voth, Zach Plesac. Voth at 9K on DK, Plesac at 8,500. Neither one of these guys has a really nice price across the industry. There's no pitching here for me.
No, just really tough matchups for both. Pretty unappealing price tags for both.
Yeah. And then when it comes to offense, happy to pick spots here, but both teams under 5 implied totals. We have some really loaded offensive environments today. I don't get the sense that I'll have tons of these guys, but I don't mind having the best things of the Nats or the best things of the Indians. It's just not likely to be high in volume.
$4,500 Francisco Lindor and $4,600 Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm. Puig at 4,200 works. Jose Ramirez is priced appropriately now. Wow, he's $24 on Yahoo. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I will mention Adam Eaton, 4K. Last time I mentioned him, he donged, so there you go, everybody. Yeah, it's just there's just too many significantly better spots.
Devontae Adams out for multiple weeks.
What happened?
Turf toe.
They need to rename that. Sounds like the worst kind.
It sounds so much less.
It's so emasculating.
Yeah, it just sounds so much less serious, I guess, than it is. My first thought was always just oh yeah, it's turf toe, and then the guy's like, I can't put my shoe on.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Didn't he go off early? Did he get hurt?
Yeah,
late?
yeah. He got hurt towards the end of the game.
What is turf toe?
I don't know, but he did say that he couldn't put his shoe on.
Well, that sucks for him. But anyway, we'll go to Pittsburgh. This is part 1 of ridiculous value. 3.9 run implied total for the Pirates, 4.6 for the Reds. Steven Brault, Anthony Desclafani. So $37 for Desclafani looks pretty good on Yahoo, but we're not making any decisions on him until we see the Pirates lineup. However many righties you get, every single one more than the previous makes this more interesting. But we need to talk about Brault. 4,300 on DraftKings. This is one of 2 pay down options that I am going to have like probably way too much of, I assume.
Yeah. Turf toe is a sprain of the big toe joint. But yeah, I mean, Desclafani is just really expensive. Chances are you're not going to get a very right-handed heavy lineup, but like you said, just pay attention to that. As far as Brault goes, he's 4,300. He's an okay pitcher for that salary. 18.8% strikeout percentage this year. Sierra a little over 5. But there's another pitcher in that price range that I would rather just have all of my exposure go to.
I prefer that other guy as well. I think Brault lines up really nicely here. A lot of the slop on the Reds is like high K, not great. Lorenzen potentially in the lineup. As long as he could work his way through the Suarez Aquino section, it's not too shabby. There's not a lot of like really scary stuff. Lefty on, like, you don't want Votto, but lefty's fine. I expect to have.
I like the Reds.
You do like the Reds?
Yeah. Like Brault, doesn't strike out a ton of guys. He's allowed 1.3 homers per 9 this year. 189 ISO to righties with a 16.3% strikeout percentage. Phil Irvin, 131 WRC plus against left-handed pitching over a small sample since the start of last season. Suarez, obviously, really good, 162, 289 ISO. Aquino has tons of power. Iglesias doesn't really strike out. He's been slightly above average. Lorenzen has tons of power, strikes out a lot. I think it's not the best spot for full stacks probably because there are so many good hitting spots on the slate. But I think that getting to those middle of the order guys is pretty appealing.
Yeah, I really like the Suarez piece. Irvin is underpriced for this spot. I'm hoping that the park factor for righty power can help to save Brault here. It's a terrible park for righties, so kind of just what he needs to be good enough. I'm really curious to see his ownership. That one could swing pretty big for me. He can be completely unowned or like 15 to 20, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could just see all that ownership go to Eovaldi, in which case it's not crazy to just have some Brault lineups.
Yeah. That'll tell a big part of the story because he's clearly not as good as Eovaldi is. Any Pirates bats?
Frazier's a decent value, but nothing that I think is really a priority.
We're on the same 3.9 run implied total. Going to be a real tough sell unless somebody's mispriced. Favorite bat in the game?
Suarez. Yep. It's between him and Irvin.
Yep. Blue Jays and Rays. 3.9 run implied total for the Jays. 5.5 for the Rays. Oh, God. I forget how to say it. TJ Zoik, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I had to think like, okay.
I couldn't remember until you said it.
I just had to think about Scooby-Doo. That's the only way that I'll ever remember it now. TJ Zoik. Tyler Glasnow, $39 on Yahoo, $8,800 on FanDuel, $69 on Draftkings. God, you're asleep at the wheel, man.
No, I just made a conscious decision not to say it.
That's fair. I can appreciate that. It's all about how long you think Glasnow is going to go because 6,900 is viable once he passes a certain innings threshold. I gave him 3 2/3. Figure they're not going to just run him into the ground, that's for sure. Do you have any interest in Glasnow here against the Jays?
A little bit. So he went 3 innings last start. They wanted him to go 4. He threw 52 pitches in 3 innings. They pulled him. He struck out 7. I just have a hard time believing he goes more than like 4, no matter how he's pitching, kind of. So that makes it tough, especially when there are cheap pitchers that are viable on this slate. Like you're on one hand, it would be appealing to pivot from like Velasquez to Glasnow at a similar price point because Glasnow does have phenomenal strikeout stuff, and obviously he can beat Velasquez. But when you talk about the range of outcomes and the ceiling, Velasquez is just naturally higher because if he's pitching really well, he's not getting pulled after 4 innings,
right?
Or 5 innings or whatever.
Yeah. They are not going crazy with Glasnow. 0% chance that they're just like, you know what, man, do what you need to do.
Right.
So I could see it. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some extra information on it as we get closer. If you're playing 150, I think you clearly have some shares just because of his strikeout upside. But going to be really hard to get any volume. I think that we can safely skip Zoinks. So,
yep.
Any Rays stacks here?
Yeah, I think they're really interesting because this has been the best park for power according to ESPN's power rankings or park factors. Basketball season can't start soon enough. And it's obviously a nice park shift for Tampa Bay. They're affordable. They have close to 6 implied run total. Brandon Lau's back. It looks like Meadows, obviously is really good. Wendell gives you some nice value at the top. So I do like Tampa Bay a lot.
Yeah, Kiermaier, flat minimum on Yahoo if he's in the lineup, which is interesting, I guess. But I like Meadows, Choi. You can get to a stack if you're using Wendell and he's leading off. He's not going to be exciting, but at least you get the extra plate appearances. I don't mind getting to some Rays. The 5.5 run implied total is nice. I can't imagine they get much ownership, just given where some of these other games, like given the Yankees, the Rockies, and the Brewers, and the Twins, and the Red Sox, I guess. Given all of those teams, they're probably. I would expect the Rays to have a better top stack percentage than their ownership. I think is probably the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Blue Jays bats against Glass now.
No.
McKinney, if he's leading off, I will always, at least slightly mention flat minimum on Yahoo, 2,200 on FanDuel, 3,300 on DK. Should we be more interested in the Blue Jays? I guess we shouldn't because their implied total is 3.9, but should we be more interested in them just because we know Glass now is not going deep?
No, because their bullpen's really, really good too.
That's where I was leading this. Red Sox and Orioles. This is a biggie. We've got a lot to talk about. 6.4 run implied total for Boston, 4.6 for the Orioles. Nathan Eovaldi for Boston. Woj going for the O's. We need to just start here. Eovaldi is 4,100 on DraftKings. I gave him the most pessimistic innings projection I could give him. I gave him 4. That was as low as I could put it in there to make him not and I'll get him in everything. I won't be able to stop it. And I don't think that 4, if you're asking me how many innings I think he pitches, I pick a number higher than 4. But if I put that number in any higher, it's really going to create some problems running crunches. This is by far the best pitching spot. I wrote him up as the first pitcher in Spotlight Pitchers. Don't normally grab out of the bottom of the barrel for that, but there's nothing else to do, right? He's going to be crazy owned.
Yeah, this is the one I got a DM late last night that was just like, what is with Eovaldi's price on DraftKings? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't looked at baseball. And so I looked and was very, very confused. He's not a great pitcher, but he's not bad, especially from a strikeout standpoint. 22.6% strikeout or 22.4% strikeout percentage this year. Has a really good fastball. Breaking stuff is a work in progress, but certainly not a 4K pitcher. Threw 100 pitches his last time out, fully stretched out. There's no reason not to be on Eovaldi at the salary.
We just got ownership. Any guesses on him and Velasquez?
60 on Eovaldi, 35 on Velasquez.
58 and 45.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where it should be. Doesn't really change anything for me. Steven Brault, 17.
Yeah, I'd rather just have Eovaldi.
Let's just say there's 75% exposure split between Brault and Eovaldi. Now, the split is relative. 75% total exposure going to those two. Do you think you have more or less than the field of the two of them when we get to lock? Okay, more. I agree. Those Brault-Eovaldi combo lineups are going to be incredible.
Eovaldi, Velasquez.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Eovaldi, Velasquez, and so there are 5 guys in double figures. Eovaldi, 58. Velasquez, 45. Buehler, 22. Brault, 17. Pablo Lopez, 12. Thanks for going all out on Friday, guys. 5 pitchers.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be an easy deep dive article to write today.
Cash combo, Eovaldi, Buehler.
Or Eovaldi, Velasquez.
Yeah. I feel like Eovaldi, Velasquez leaves you too much money, but we'll see.
There's a Coors game with bad pitching.
Very true. We'll see. It'll be close. Yeah, I don't. What do you think of 6,500 on FanDuel? 19% owned there.
That's less appealing, obviously, just because it's a one pitcher site. It's still underpriced, but there you at least have to like consider the matchup and that it's not the best strikeout matchup against this Orioles team. It's not the worst Orioles lineup either. So he's in play, but it's not it's obviously not the same as DraftKings.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Velasquez at 7,600.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless we get word that like Eovaldi's going deep or something stupid.
Well, I mean, he threw 100 pitches last time.
I don't trust anybody to get like strung out there. Although, who knows? The Mets did it yesterday with Wheeler.
Yeah.
Mike Minor's trying to get a 200th K. They're willing to do whatever it takes.
That was hilarious.
I assume that's fully financial, right?
Probably.
Like that's I can't.
I doubt that Mike Minor actually cares about the number 200.
Right.
I mean, maybe he does, like just to say that he did it, but
it's weird.
Probably
to me that
not.
The Red Sox,
probably not enough to alter the game.
It's weird to me that the Red Sox would be dick about something financial, though. Like,
so also though, and someone pointed it out. They were swinging at the first pitch. They hit 2 first pitch home runs in that inning. So it could just be that they were swinging at mistakes.
They came out and said that they were like trying to stop it, didn't they?
Oh, okay. I didn't know they
that's
did.
What I remember
Texas
reading.
said it. Texas said it.
Oh, Texas. Okay, maybe I misread that then.
Texas said that Boston may have said it, and I just didn't see it. But the quote I saw was Texas saying that Guzman let the ball drop intentionally because Boston was swinging at every first pitch, trying to not strike out.
Yeah, if he's just going for 200 generally, then
I can't imagine being like a hitter on the Red Sox and knowing how many strikeouts for the season Mike Minor has.
They probably put it on the board or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if that's like $100,000 or something,
right?
I'd end up getting thrown out after I got that 200K. I'd burn, like I'd bury the next dude if they like were really being dicks about it. I put one right in between his shoulder blades. No Woj, right?
Nah.
Boston looks tasty. 6.4 run implied total. If this lineup so here's the real tricky piece. They're obviously a fantastic stack on paper. On FanDuel, they look like downright cheap. JD at 49, Benintendi 42, Mitch Moreland 46. The 3 guys at the top, Betts, Devers, Bogarts. You can easily get to a Boston team that should put up a ton of runs. How long do these guys play?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the question. I assume though that if the good players are in the lineup that they're going to play. Like it's a home game, which should help. People are still paying to go to the game. You're not going to just be like, hey, here's Mookie, now he's going to the bench.
I think a lot of these guys will I think 2 plate appearances is a realistic scenario.
Why do you what makes you think that?
Nothing with confidence. I'm not changing the way that I'm playing because of it. That's just sort of what I expect. And it's not just for Boston either. I just have a hard they're going to slowly pick people off, I would imagine. But I don't think that I can predict it, so it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously agree with that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't if it's a blowout or something, then obviously they'll be quick to get guys out. But yeah, I don't know. They pinch it for Benintendi yesterday, and that I don't know, could have been injury related. I have no idea. But other than that, everyone who started just played the whole game.
Yeah, I don't have any. It's totally baseless. I just don't trust anything.
Yeah,
is all.
Yeah,
especially with teams with legitimate stars.
Right.
Because there's no incentive to run anybody out there and get potentially hurt for the Red Sox, unless they're trying to knock down Mookie's value for his next contract. I assume you're in for Boston stacks with.
Yeah, Woj has decent strikeout stuff, particularly against righties, but gives up power to. Oh, that's my computer. Gives up power to both sides of the plate, and doesn't really strike out lefties. So I think Devers really stands out. But obviously Mookie, Bogarts, JD are all good plays too.
I'm gonna get a lot of Boston here. Benintendi for 11 looks decent on Yahoo, but I'm in for the full Megillah. There's not a bad Boston bat out there outside of Christian Vasquez for 4,800, and even that as part of a 5-man can deal with it given Velasquez's price and Eovaldi's price. Final time, Orioles bats. Anything?
So they're interesting as leverage just because you're getting so much ownership on Eovaldi on DraftKings.
Yeah.
But and again, the top of the order really at least gives you some upside. VR, Hayes, Mancini, and Santander all have power. In VR's case, he has stolen base ability as well. And then the bottom of the order is cheap, but the value bats aren't really that useful on this slate since you have such cheap pitching. Obviously, though, if you're stacking Baltimore, you're not rostering Eovaldi, so you could use them to get to like Buehler plus Velasquez. But with so many good hitting spots, I'm not really interested. They're also expensive.
Yeah. Did you see what Tony Romo shot yesterday?
No.
2 under. He's tied for 28th. He's got a legitimate chance to make the cut.
Well, he needs to get first.
I first.
Because Darren Ravel said he would delete his Twitter.
Oh, really? Would we really want that?
Absolutely.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's like the worst account on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree, but that's the fun. It's like getting our terrible support emails.
Yeah, that's true.
If he goes away, then we just have to make fun of somebody else.
I nominate Bob Nightingale.
I bet you do. Bet you do. Yeah, I don't want that to go away. I just want that garbage to exist so that we could all like team up. It's a bond for sports fans to think that it's trash. I don't want that to go away. Man, the Rovell replies account is the real one to follow. That's fantastic.
I've never seen that one.
Oh God, it's just ridiculous stuff that people say to him that they archive. And I've retweeted so many of them over the years that like I get them interspersed into my time hops every morning. Some of them are just gems. All right, let's keep it moving. Final game in the 7:00 window. Mets and Braves, 4.1 run implied total for the Mets, 3.9 for the Braves. This one should go pretty quickly, although ownership is interesting. Marcus Stroman and Dallas Keuchel. We're not going to be playing these guys on DraftKings, or at least I don't think that either one of us are. But Stroman's 13% owned on FanDuel, and even more interesting because he's $33 on Yahoo, 27% owned. Keuchel $15 on Yahoo, where he's $34. So I think that we're probably both in agreement that these guys are viable on Yahoo because of their prices, but I don't think we want them anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like Stroman is cheap enough on Yahoo that you can get away. Like he becomes appealing because he's actually a good pitcher, good at run prevention, not a great strikeout pitcher. Normally, on other sites he's priced for his kind of real life pitching talent as opposed to his DFS talent. Yahoo, that's not the case.
Yeah, I get why that's 27 for sure. I mean, he's essentially a free square. Yeah, no way I'm paying $9K for Keuchel on FanDuel or $9,600 on DraftKings, and I'm certainly not paying $10,300 for Stroman on DraftKings. I can't imagine either one of us want bats.
Correct. Pete Alonso is. Yeah, I was gonna say Ramos is really cheap, and Pete Alonso's only 4,800 on DraftKings.
And that's one guy that is not coming out of the ball game for the next 3 days.
Yeah. And Freeman's 4,200.
Yeah. Pete Alonso will get every plate appearance he wants today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Full stop. That dude is chasing home run records, and they're not taking their. They're not playing a home series against Atlanta and taking out their star rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, someone tweeted yesterday that he should be batting leadoff every game now that the Mets are out of it. And, I mean, obviously I agree.
Yeah. Every plate appearance counts. Solo dongs still count. Talk to Randall Grichuk. That's the end of the 7:00 games. Perfect time for everybody to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, subscribe to our podcast feed, iTunes or wherever else you get your podcasts. We're dropping audio on there every day. So if you can't catch the videos on YouTube, you do have another mechanism. We actually put up Adam Pfeiffer's fantasy matchups column. He read it last night. So we have an hour of audio. If you can't I mean, it's a tomb. It's like multiple pages on the website. He puts an incredible amount of work into it, and we now have an audio version of it. So check it out. Should have got like Siri or something to read it, or like, do you use Waze?
I used to.
Okay. They have like the option of getting really ridiculous people to read your directions. Like I switched mine to DJ Khaled for a while, which was really fun. So it'd be really cool to like somehow be able to get that to happen, but I know it's probably quite costly. Anyway, coming up for the rest of the day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Chris Randone and Manny Laura will be talking some Week 4 with regards to Fantasy Cruncher for the NFL. At noon, we will have the Awesemo Odds betting show with Ben Rasa, Jordan Frank, and Nolan Kelly. Nolan double dipping then at 1 o'clock for the Yahoo Specific Strategy show. That'll be him and the boss man, Alex Baker. Deeper Dive will be Adam and Alex, I'm pretty sure for sure, potentially with Chris Spags. Maybe Alex drops out and then it's just you and Spags. I'm not entirely sure right now.
Maybe I drop out and then it's just Alex and Spags.
Maybe. I've enjoyed the two-man group with you and Alex the past 2 days. It's a really good show. And with 14 games, you need a lot of time. You don't have so much time to like get everybody's thoughts fleshed out with 3.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those shows.
And then the final live before lock of the MLB regular season. Myself, Jake Hari, final time. We're bringing cocktails. Be ready.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. No doubt. No doubt about it. We're going out for dinner with my father-in-law after that, so I'm probably going to have some cocktails at that point too, so this is just pregame.
There you go.
We are bringing it. Jake's bringing the White Claw. Rangers and Yankees, 4.2 run implied total for the Rangers, 6.7 for the Yanks. Joseph Palumbo going for Texas. James Paxton going for the Yanks. Not even going to mention Palumbo again. Paxton, 15% owned on Yahoo where he's $45, but I could not have less interest in him today.
I mean, I'm interested in him. He's really good, and he's got a pretty decent matchup against Texas.
11-2 in Texas. You think he goes deep?
Yeah.
Really? Did Houston win last night?
Or
they have nothing to play for, right?
Yeah, I mean he threw 87 pitches last time out. I guess that's an issue.
If he were priced normally, that'd be fine. But $500 off of Walker Buehler, I can't. He's 4% owned right now. I can't justify it. If you're playing 150, shares are fine. I understand how it shows up, but this is a bad spot.
Yeah,
for like a guy that doesn't need to be out there.
Yeah, it's not even the spot that concerns me. It's just that like he's not giving you 8 innings.
Right. I mean, when push comes to shove, he's got to pay off 11-2, and that's
right.
You need every bit of it. $45 on Yahoo, I think, is perfectly reasonable.
Man, how much does it suck to be Joe Palumbo? And not only do you have to face the Yankees, but it's the day where you're probably going to get all of Encarnacion and Sanchez and Urshela back in the lineup.
Yeah. Not going to be great for him, you would think. Is there a Yankee bat you don't want? $4,900 Brett Gardner, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that would be the one that stands out.
Yeah, Stanton looks great, but I mean this is going to be one of the most popular stacks. They're getting a ton of ownership. Urshela and Gardner not getting owned, but everybody else is 12% or higher. Judge, Torres, Stanton all 20% or more. Sanchez at 19%. These guys are crazy owned across the board, but they should be. I mean, this is one of the best offensive spots you'll find. I don't know what else there is to say. One of your top stacks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No question.
Yep.
They now have a 7 implied run total outside of course.
That's nuts. Oh, full run higher than Colorado today in course.
Yeah.
Favorite Yankees bat?
Stanton, but he's probably also going to be the highest owned.
Yep.
I think you can probably pay up for like LeMahieu would give you a decent contrarian Yankee stack. Hard to imagine that he's a priority.
Agreed. Still 12% already, so
yeah,
he is. Rangers, anything?
Nope.
Yeah, same page. Grab those Yankees bats, guys. More offense. Rockies and Brewers. 6-run implied total for the Rocks. 7.5 for the Brewers. Antonio Senzatella, Zach Davies. Gonna go ahead and just skip over pitching for right now. Who do you prefer, Rockies or Brew Crew?
Brewers. They just have better hitters. Senzatella pitched. Well, both these pitchers pitched to contact, which is obviously a huge issue in Colorado because of because of the elevated BABIP due to the huge field and the fast infield. But better hitters on Milwaukee. Grisham, Grandal, Moustakas, Keston Hiura, Ryan Braun, Eric Dames. These guys all have power and or speed. So Milwaukee is the one that really stands out.
Eric Dames is 5,400. Whew. He was so cheap for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got first 6 guys in the projected lineup all north of 5K, but you're paying up for the goods. This is as good a spot as you're going to find. They're going to be very popular. Who do you prefer, Brewers or Yankees?
Whichever's lower owned.
Brewers.
Yeah, then they're cheaper too.
I mean, like, depending on who the 5-man is, it's going to be pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Are they? I mean, the Yankee stack gets $4,500 Stanton in it, so it's still pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I prefer the Yankees by a little bit just because they have so much power.
Ultimately more talented. If Yelich were in this lineup, it might look a little bit different, but
right.
A lot more like slightly above average hitters with power here instead of elite power. Although, wow, Moose Tacos. 5K, dual eligibility. Love it. That said, still got to get to some Rockies bats. Only Story, Arenado, and Blackman north of 5K. Everybody else, very affordable. Certainly not as good. Tapia and Walters, both $7 on Yahoo if they're in the starting lineup. I mean, you just want to have this game, but they are much less owned. Story, Arenado, and Blackman, the only 3 guys in double digits from the Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty appealing. Like, Davies isn't bad. Well, I think he's bad. His numbers aren't that bad. But he doesn't strike guys out, like, at all. And so putting the ball in play in Colorado just puts you in a really good situation. So if you're not going to get any ownership on the Rockies, I think they're a really good tournament stack.
Yeah, I mean, basically anybody else you use outside of that 3-man, you're going to be relatively unique. Ryan McMahon is 7% owned. Hilliard is 5% owned. I mean, that right there makes it pretty easy. Now, granted, Hilliard and 5 through 9 is bad, but here's a question for you, totally random. If you were able to roster pitchers and get their hitting stats, how often do you think that would happen? Not often, right? Like if you had like a utility spot, kind of like on FanDuel.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. Make the stack cheaper, depending on who the hitting, okay. Depending on who it is.
Yeah, I mean, probably as often as you roster Jeff Mathis.
So a lot for some people. It just made me think about it. Like if Senzatella was 2K in a utility spot, where does he show up in ownership? But I guess it's...
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's an awful hitter who's going to get pinch hit for a first opportunity.
Yeah, it's 0 in this particular case. Yeah. But there are certainly, Lorenzen is on the hill or something.
Right.
Backup core, surprise, surprise. And you'll be able to afford it thanks to Eovaldi's price and Velasquez's price and Steven Brault's price. Cardinals and Cubs, 5.2 run implied total for the Cardinals. Oh, man, I wanted to make like a bear joke here, but they're already the Cubs. 3.2 run implied total for the Cubs. I assume we get some sort of Cubs slop. They ran out some garbage last night. Let's start with the Cards. Any interest in Dakota Hudson? Completely unowned across the board.
If the Cubs were to go to that same trash lineup, then sure. But I'm assuming they go back to a normal lineup after giving their entire team the day off yesterday. So it's just really tough to get to a low strikeout pitcher in Hudson that is appropriately priced on a slate where there's mispriced pitching.
Yeah. One of those guys where you don't mind what you get, but you're never going to get a lot.
Right.
Cardinals bats, though, up against Alec Mills. Everyone except for Tommy Edmond is in the is under 4K, and Edmund is only 4,400. Is this the best value stack on the day?
Definitely up there, yeah. 5 implied run total. Everyone's cheap, like you said. The issue is just that, do you really need it? Obviously you'll get some pretty good lineups going there with like Bueller plus Eovaldi or Bueller plus Velasquez. But the opportunity cost being that you're not stacking the Yankees or the Brewers or or the Twins or any of these really, really great offenses. So I'm not sure how much I would actually want.
No one above 10% ownership. Goldschmidt at 9. I think this is the sneaky stock of the day.
I think that it's an appealing mini stack or one-offs if they're not getting a lot of ownership. Like you get a lot of power in your lineup for cheap, but if you're just mini stacking or taking one-offs, you're not. The opportunity cost obviously isn't there.
Goldschmidt 9, Ozuna 2, DeYoung 2, Molina 3. I like I'm going to have more than the field of the Cardinals here. Marcell Ozuna is $9 on Yahoo. He's the cheapest hitter. How the hell does that even happen?
I have no idea.
It's like they forgot the 1. I really like the Cardinals. I think this is a sneaky good spot. Going unowned on a day with a lot of value. I mean, it might allow you to go, well, depending on who we like here, Bueller plus another good pitcher with a 5-man cards. I'm all over. Favorite bat in the game?
Ozuna.
Agreed. That's a really sneaky spot. I'm surprised they're not getting more ownership. I thought they were going to be like the optimizer play. Turns out, not quite. There's just not enough runs, I guess.
Yeah.
Royals.
Go
ahead.
And optimizer-wise, you're just getting a lot of cheap pitching. So
yeah. Royals and Twins. 4.1 run implied total for the Royals. 5.9 for the Twins. Eric Skoglund, Jose Barrios. Barrios 17% owned on Yahoo, 6 on FanDuel, 7% on Draftkings. He's just so expensive, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not super interested here. What do you think?
No, me neither. He's not a priority. He's a guy that if he gets into some lineups, I'm obviously fine with it. Kansas City's not a particularly good offense. Barrios is a decent pitcher, but I just think that he's overpriced for a guy that strikes out a little below 23% of hitters this season. So I could see him getting into some lineups where I have a cheaper stack and either don't have quite enough money for Bueller or it's just a lower ownership pivot, but certainly not a priority.
Could probably do him and Bueller plus that card stack.
Yeah,
which I guess is interesting. Yeah,
I mean even that leaves you Bueller plus Barrios on DraftKings leaves you 34, 37.
Okay,
per position.
Yeah. I don't have a ton of interest there. Twins bats, on the other hand, looking pretty good. Only Garver and Cruz in double digits. That's 12 and 13 on DK, 16 and 12 on FanDuel. I mean, there's just a lot of power here. So they're going to go overlooked. I think their odds of being a top stack are probably higher than whatever their ownership ends up being.
Yeah, really like Minnesota. To me, they're up there with the Yankees and the Brewers.
Favorite Twins bat?
Cruz.
Yeah. Nukes.
CJ Cron. If CJ Cron's in the lineup, though, that's a great value.
3,700.
Yeah.
3,100 on FanDuel, $13 on Yahoo. I don't love the FanDuel prices much, but yeah, that is a really nice value. And lefty on the hill for the Royals, so $3,700 Jonathan Scope, even if he is hitting ninth. It's a decent way to try to buy a home run.
Yeah. Since last season, Eric Skoglund has thrown 1,176 pitches to righties, 217 ISO, 342 WOBA, 13.3% strikeout percentage.
Yeah. 1% owned Scope, by the way.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
$16 on Yahoo. Oh, that one I'll skip. Any Royals bats?
No.
I'm over this team.
There's just so many good hitting spots tonight that it's tough.
I don't. No, thank you. Let's see. 4 to go. Diamondbacks and Padres. 4.8 run implied total for the D-backs. 4.6 for the Pods. Taylor Clark, Eric Lauer. Neither guy getting any ownership. Are they getting any ownership for you?
No.
Correct. From a hitting perspective, not a lot of ownership coming in. Rojas's price just broken, so he's still getting some. Manny Machado at 10% on DK because obviously Padres look okay just from like a value perspective, but there's just too much good offense out there for me to care.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the opportunity cost is so high. Machado is the one that really stands out. Obviously he's having a bad year, but he's still Manny Machado. We're still talking about Taylor Clark, who's allowed 2.35 home runs per 9 while striking out virtually nobody this year. So that's obviously a good spot.
Stratford pointed it out last night. Diamondbacks against lefties have been a thing this year. They've got like a 230 ISO and like a 115, 120 weighted runs created plus. So at the very least, I'd like to take a look because outside of Rojas at 8%, they are unowned. I think that they're probably a better option than what their ownership dictates, but there's just so much high volume offense that it's more of a 150 lineup play than like a single lineup play.
Yeah, and losing Ketel Marte hurts as well. But yeah, I mean, you still get power from guys like Escobar, Walker, Flores, Carson Kelly at catcher. So it's a team where I expect them to have essentially no ownership.
Yep.
So if you're getting to a couple Arizona stacks across 150, then by all means.
Sounds good. I'd ask you who your favorite Padres bat is, but that would be a stupid question.
Yes, it would.
Angels and Astros. 4-run implied total for the Angels, 5.5 for the Astros. Trivia question. True or false? We get the Astros lineup before lock today.
False.
Patrick Sandoval, Jose Urquidy. No ownership going to Sandoval. Urquidy, 11 on Yahoo, 8 on DK. He's $28 on Yahoo. He should be owned more than 11%, no?
Yeah, it's really cheap on Yahoo, especially with the trash lineups the Angels are currently running out.
Also, Michael Brantley, $8 on Yahoo. So if you're trying to stack up Astros, he'll help.
Yeah, 3,900 on DraftKings too.
Yeah. I switched him to my home run pick. I took Alvarez last night. He's the only Astro to not be in the lineup that was in the projected lineup. Unbelievable.
Looks like Tommy La Stella is supposed to be back.
Wasn't entirely sure that he was on the Angels for a second. Didn't know if that was just an alert you got.
Yeah, I was going to say not that it affects anything.
Former Atlanta Brave.
Former Coastal Carolina Chanticleer.
There you go. Champs. What, 3 years ago?
I think it was more than that now.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, I think their program like really fell off after that. But they had a nice stretch where they were always a top-ranked team.
Yeah. Craziness that they won.
Yeah.
Like
Steven Matz was a commit.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was going to go, and then the Mets gave him $1 million signing bonus.
And you should take that every time.
Yep.
I know Keith Law harps on it a lot. If you get offered more than $1 million, take the damn money. It's not that will change your life, at least in a mild way. And surprise, surprise, college exists. And you could then go to college without having to take out student loans and save half of the cost.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy not to take the money.
Yeah, unless you have a family that does not need it.
Right.
Or you're going to you're one of the pitchers going to Vanderbilt or something. But if you're going to dickbag you, just take the paper.
Yep.
Secure the bag. What do you want to do with Astros bats here? How do we prioritize them? By the way, did you know that there's no late swap on Fantasydraft?
Yes, I did, because I've been rostering Astros that aren't playing for the last few days.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know until Jake said it last night. I had no idea.
Yep.
Bring your White Claws, boxed wine, and Tito's sodas and pour one out for the MLB season. That's Jake.
Yeah, so I mean, Altuve really stands out. He's 4,600 on DraftKings. Obviously has a platoon advantage. I think pretty clearly a top value second baseman. Springer's fine, so is Bregman. But yeah, Altuve is the one that really, really stands out to me.
Yeah, 4,600 is just too cheap for him there. I mean, Brantley for 3,900 is even more too cheap, but I get it. No one in the Astros lineup north of 10%, outside of Brantley on Yahoo at 19.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have these guys because they're the Astros and they have a 5.5 run implied total, but
yeah, it's just hard to talk about since we have no idea who's going to be in the lineup.
Yeah, and we probably won't until 7 p.m. Eastern time at best. Right. 6. Any Angels bats against Urquidy?
I don't think so.
No Tommy La Stella for you?
No, I'm good.
I'm on the same page. God, that team stinks, man. Does Trout win the MVP?
Does he or should he?
The answer to should he is yes. Does he?
Yeah. Probably not. Baseball writers are idiots.
I hate it so much. That sort of stuff is what has caused me to like care less about baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, dude. 13 points higher in weighted runs created plus this season. He had a 353 ISO this year. He just does it so casually that you don't even think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was stuck in the argument about him versus Bregman for hours yesterday on Twitter. But yeah, it's like, even if you look at WAR, like right now, depending on which one you look at, he's either way ahead of Bregman or he's slightly ahead of Bregman, and Bregman will pass him by the end of the year probably. But like when you keep in mind that it's a counting stat and Trout he's going to end up missing 28 games this year.
Yeah.
You know, and someone was like, well, so you're just going to reward him for being hurt? And it's like, no, the point is that he's neck and neck with Bregman in this counting stat playing in less games. It's not, you're not rewarding him because he's hurt. He was still better even in less games.
Yeah. It's insanity. Dude is so good. So good. And then you look at his numbers and then you pull up Barry Bonds' log and it's just like, oh, he's not. Like, yeah. It just, I mean, this would have been like one of Barry Bonds' worst years in that stretch. Crazy to think about. I mean, this is actually probably what Trout's worst year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's his worst. It's definitely a step back.
2017, 6.8 wins. He got off to that hot start with back-to-back 10-win seasons. So good. All right, let's close this out. 2 to go.
Worst WRC plus since 2016.
Yeah. Obviously, we're using the term worst very relatively.
79% better than league average.
Yeah. Only swiped 11 bags this year.
Oh, wow.
Which is a far cry from the 30 and 49 season home runs and swipes that he had in his rookie year. Insane. 3.8 run implied total for the Mariners. 5.3 for the A's. 65% chance to win for Oakland. Justice Sheffield. Mike Fiers. No ownership here, really. 5% going to Fiers on DraftKings, but I don't want any pitching.
No, me neither. You know, it's a good strikeout spot for Fiers, but just seems pretty unnecessary on this slate. He's not a great strikeout pitcher. I really just don't see getting to that mid-range pitching all that much.
Two comments from YouTube chat. Jake asked, do we know what your drink of choice is? He was guessing beer. And the immediate response was from Brandon Johnson, who said, Adam is a big Red's Apple Ale guy. I figure you're a brown liquor guy?
Whiskey if I drink liquor, but I don't really drink it anymore. Normally beer. If I'm at home, it's wine. If I'm out, it's beer.
Okay. I did know the wine because you had mentioned getting the wine delivery, but
yeah,
I would have landed on Jack and Coke, something like that.
Yeah, I mean if I'm drinking mixed drinks when I'm out, Jack and Coke or rum and Coke. Whiskey neat if I'm just like for some reason drinking liquor like at a bar by myself or at my house. But yeah, no, it's normally if I'm sitting around watching TV, it's red wine. If I'm out, I'll drink beer because I can drink a lot of it and not become a total asshole.
There you go. Oakland bats, 5.3 run implied total. Great pricing. Nobody more expensive than 4,800. Anything I'm saying here crazy? I want to roster the Oakland A's once again. Justice Sheffield, not great.
No, right there with you. The only question is, again, who's in this lineup? You have Q tags on Mark Canha and Chris Davis, but they're really affordable. Matt Chapman, once again, is one of the best third base options.
Unowned. Chapman at 7%. This whole team not getting any ownership. It's another spot where their top stack chance is going to be way higher than their ownership. Mariners bats. Sorry, shouldn't even have said it.
Yeah, I know.
Final game of the final MLB strategy show on a weekday. My final MLB strategy show for the regular season. Adam gets to see you guys tomorrow. Giants and Dodgers. 3.2 run implied total for the Giants. 4-3 for the Dodgers. Johnny Cueto, Walker Buehler. Johnny Cueto, 9,300 on DraftKings. So we're playing DFS in 2011. Cueto for $32 on Yahoo, whatever. But let's talk Walker Buehler. $54 on Yahoo, 31% owned. 10-2 on FanDuel, 18% owned. 11-7 on DraftKings, 22% owned. I think we're probably in agreement. He is clearly the best option at the top.
Yeah, he's my favorite out of the pitchers at the top. Good park, good strikeout stuff, 29.1% strikeout percentage this year, 3.48 Sierra, just a really, really good pitcher. The only question is, do you need him? If you look on DraftKings, if you pair him with Eovaldi, you get about 4,200 per position. If you pair him with Velasquez, you get about 4,000 per position. With so many teams that are expensive today, I just still think my preferred route is going to be a lot of Velasquez, Eovaldi, and having 4,900 per position. Yeah. He's expensive enough where let's say Buehler goes for 32 or something in that range. It's obviously good, but you can make up for it pretty easily. So I obviously think the Buehler is a very good play, and I'm happy to have him. But I think that I'll end up going cheap more often than not.
You think you end up with less than the 22% we have?
I think that seems about right to me.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up with like 50 just because of the salaries at the bottom.
I would, because you just still can't stack like the good Yankees or the good Twins or the good Brewers.
That's true.
But what I expect would happen is I get around that 22% mark on Buehler, and then I take some of this 17% Brault and 12% Lopez and just keep piling that on the Eovaldi and Velasquez.
Yep. It'll be an interesting crunch. Any Dodgers bats? The first four guys in the Dodgers projected lineup all have dual eligibility, and all four of them have first.
I think that. Yeah, I don't think they're that appealing. It's 58 degrees. It's in San Francisco. Jock's obviously affordable, so is Bellinger, but not really that interested.
$3,300 Matt Beatty. I've got a little bit of interest in. That's a really cheap price tag for a dual eligibility guy. Doesn't strike out all that often, so at least the ball should be in play. He's $7 on Yahoo. I think that's a really nice value as well, but it's not a great park. There are so many better spots than the Dodgers today. 4.3 run implied total is crazy. But that's Giants, they're Oracle Park for you.
Yep.
All right, sum it up. Favorite hitting stacks?
Yankees, Brewers, Twins. I don't think anything groundbreaking there.
Yep, same page. And, pitching is about as obvious as it's been all year.
I really could just roster 3 pitchers on this slate.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind it. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having Brault as well.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have Brault, but I wouldn't.
I don't need anybody after that.
Yeah, and I honestly wouldn't care if I didn't have Brault.
Yeah. There we go, guys. The weekday MLB DFS strategy show has been put to bed. Oh, and it feels so good. We are less than a month before this show becomes the NBA DFS strategy show. And you and I are just going to get into it every morning, and I can't wait.
Yeah, real excited for NBA.
I'm so excited to just sit down and dig into Wowie for like 2 hours in the morning, plot out rotations.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll wear off pretty quickly, but I'm excited to have things to research other than the same, other than stuff that I've memorized a month ago. what someone's ISO is.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of mentioning whoever the Marlins
Right.
opposing pitcher is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I can only write that so many times. Now I'm ready to dig in. NBA slates are just so different every day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because whereas for baseball, we're just like, this guy might be in the Astros lineup, he might not be. We'll find out 3 hours before the game. It doesn't really affect any other player. Basketball, the entire game changes if you have someone in or out. So yeah, just a totally different process that is more time consuming, but also I think a lot more fun to talk about.
We're almost there. October 22nd, guys. Get pumped. Guys, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Yahoo Sports, our presenting sponsor. Use the information at the top of EMAC Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article to sign up at Yahoo and get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. Again, coming up in 19 minutes, Chris Randone and Manny Laura. They will be talking some Fantasy Cruncher along with NFL Week 4. We will have the Awesome Odds betting show at noon. Yahoo Specific Strategy Show at 1, Deeper Dive at 5, and live before lock, the cherry on top, myself and Jake, coming up at 6 p.m. Any other plugs, Adam?
Nope.
Can't beat it. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been fun. We'll talk to you later.